Hello students, welcome to new video. In previous video we have already studied about this URL, relative referencing, links and inline text elements. So in today's video we are going to study images. So using image tag, what you can do is you can display images. Okay, so here image img tag is a oldest method for displaying an image. It is not the only way, so it is not only the one way. We can display images through css files also. Whenever you have patterns, designs, backgrounds or elements in the backgrounds, you can go for css if it is if you want to set as a background. Okay, if you want to display an image as a content in your document, at that time we will go for image tag. Okay, see, we can set or display an image using css as well as using image tag. So when to use css? When you are setting a background, if it has a pattern or any kind of design and all that you want to set for a background, at that time we can use this css technique. Or if you have a image that is just a content of a document, means like a figure or anything, at that time you need to use image tag. So when an image or content such as the images in a gallery or image of a product in a product detail page, then image tag is a semantically appropriate approach. Okay, so let us study what is this image tag. Here image tag comprises of an image element, here img element, then src, a source of image file. Actually it does not stores the image file, it just link to the file where it is stored or restored. Okay, so if it is in your C drive or D drive, you need to mention the path to that image. Okay, in the src it is just linking to that image. Okay, the html page will not store this image, actually it just link the image. So img tag links the image source, okay, in your memory. Okay, then alt is for displaying a text if image is not properly loaded, and this alternate text is for blind persons who cannot see these images. See, text and alt attribute provides a brief description of an image content for users who are unable to see it. So who are blind, what they are doing, they cannot see the web page, right? So they are just listening to the web page using what? Speech text recognition softwares. At that time this will be very helpful. So in alternate text you can write here it is a image of Central Park or whatever it is. Okay, then the title that you are giving, it is Central Park. For that image the title is Central Park. The text in a title attribute will be displayed in a pop-up tooltip when user image mouse moves over a image. Let me show you, and before that we'll see this thing, width and height. Width of an image that should be displayed on a document, and height of the image. Okay, so whatever the image pixels are, it will be resized to this width. Okay, so let me show you the example here. So actually I have here one file with me. So let me go to first this, let me copy this. Okay, I have a one file here, let me just paste here. I have Central Park image with me. So in the beginning I will not set any width and height. Okay, so I will not set any width or height. Okay, let me run it. So here you can see that the image is loaded, right? So see, whenever I just hover on this image, you will see a pop-up that Central Park. So this is title is for what? A pop-up information. So if you don't have this, it is not going to display any information. See, I'm moving on this, hovering on this, we are not getting any information. Now this image has this width and height, right? If you are just making it 80 and 40, okay, we'll see what will be the effect. Okay, what will be the effect? First we will save it, then see the image is reduced to 80 and 40. Okay, see, image pixel doesn't matter here, whatever the size that you are giving, it matters. See, I'm giving 256 and height as again 256. Okay, 256. Let me see, this is how it has adjusted itself. So it gives you liberty of resizing your images. Okay, so now after this images we have character entities. So these are special characters for symbols for which there is either no easy way to type them via a keyboard, such as copyright symbol. All of you know copyright symbol, right? So that symbol, or trademark symbol, or register symbol, that symbols we cannot easily type in your keyboard, right? So which have reserved meaning, some HTML character entities which have reserved meaning. Example, less than and greater than are used for tags, right? If you are using anywhere in the anywhere as a less than or equal to, you cannot display this less than or equal to directly on your HTML file. So for that you need a entity name. So here if you have this first entity is ampersand NBSP, non-breakable space. So only here non-breakable space. See here what it is actually, non-breakable space. The browser ignores multiple spaces in the source HTML file. If you need to display multiple spaces, you can use this NB ampersand NBSP. Okay, let me show you. Here we have, suppose we have a paragraph. Here we have a paragraph. Okay, then I am writing hello AITM. Okay, then I need here multiple spaces here. Okay, see I have given here multiple spaces. Let me show you with a header 1. Okay, H1. I will take here H1. Okay, so these multiple spaces I have given here, right? So if I just refresh here, those spaces are gone, only single space. If you want multiple spaces, what we need to do, see, you need to have this ampersand NBSP. See, 1. Okay, here I'll show you, then another one. Okay, 3 non-breakable spaces I have given here, right? So let me show you what will happen. See, it will give you 1, 2 and 3 spaces. Okay, the spaces that you are giving here, it will give you the non-breakable spaces. Understood? See here, 3, right? So it will give you non-breakable spaces if you want spaces. Okay, otherwise what the HTML browser will do, it will just ignore these multiple spaces. Then we have less than symbol. If you want to display a less than symbol, then we can use this one. See here in this. Okay, this one here. Here less than, right? So if you just type here instead of this, if you just type here like this is, and we are trying to display it. Okay, if you are trying to display it, then it is not going to display here. See why? Because every tag begins with a less than symbol, that's why. Understood? So for less than, you need to have this character entity without semicolon. Let me show you. Without semicolon, will it work? See, right? Without semicolon also it will work. So this is what the character entities are. So if you want to go for any trademark symbol, or if you want to go to any monetary symbol, see here, if you want to go for copyright symbol, see, just let me copy here. Okay, for a copyright symbol, then just let me run it. See, you will have this copyright symbol here. Okay, so these are what special character entities. Okay, now after that there are lots of character entity names available in HTML. You can refer internet for that. Okay, and for the equivalent entity number is also present on the internet. Okay, these are the equivalent entity number for equivalent entity names. Okay, then we will go for lists. So in HTML we have 3 types of lists. One is unordered list, ordered list and definition list. Unordered list, a list with all the elements but doesn't have any numbers for it. It just bulleted. The collection of items in no particular order. These are by default rendered by the browser as a bulleted list. By default, without any CSS, we are just, what we are doing is, we are just rendered as a bulleted list. Okay, see here, in this you can see unordered list. For that unordered list you are using ul tag. You are using what? Ul tag. The elements in the list that you are going to refer, you are using what? Li, 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 li. Okay, list item, list item, list item, list item. Okay, on all these list items, whatever the item that you have mentioned, home, about us, products, contact us, and all will be listed, but in the form of bullets. If you are using ordered list, okay, here we have an example of ordered list. The tags that we are going to use is, the main opening tag will be ol, ordered list, ol, then the closing will be /ol. Okay, li introduction, li background, li my solution. Then again you are having li, this list item will be again a list, again another list. So you are creating another ordered list here. Within that we have elements. That ordered list ends here, this item ends here, then this list ends with a conclusion list item, then this list ordered list ends here. So how the elements will be displayed? See, first, no, number 1 introduction, number 2 background, number 3 my solution. Okay, number 3 my solution. Then we don't have number for this because this item contains another list. So that's why number 1, again it will start from 1, methodology, then number 2 results, number 3 discussion, then last one, number 4 in the root list was conclusion. So its number will be 4. See, in the output you can see. Okay, last one is definition list. This is the collection of name and definition pairs. These tends to be useful infrequently. Frequently we are using unordered list or ordered list. So this is very rarely used. So definition list contains actually a list item with its description. Let me show you here. We have here, and it is, this definition list will begin with DL tag. DL tag. See, DL tag, then definition tag means items definition. Now coffee, what is the description of this coffee? Black hot drink. Then we have another item, that is milk. Then what is the description of this? This is white cold drink. See, in the output you can see here. See, coffee you have, then black hot drink, milk, then white cold drink. So definition list will have items with its descriptions. And how to create a definition list? It's very easy, by using DL tag. Then to mention a definition item you need to have DT, then to describe the item you need to have DD tag. Okay, so it's very simple. Now let's move on to next slide. Here HTML5 semantic structural elements. See, before HTML5 there were no structure, semantic structure for an HTML document. There is no semantic structure for an HTML document. So what they have decided, this W3C, what they have, Worldwide Consortium, see what they have decided while HTML5 was developing. These researchers at Google and Opera had their search spiders examine millions of pages to see what were the most common ID and class names given by the users or the developers, not the users, sorry, by the developers to their HTML document. So their findings helped standardize the names of the new semantic block structuring elements in the HTML5. So they have sent this search spiders. Then what they found is most common names that has been used by developers in that HTML documents, and it helped them to create a structure of an HTML5 document. Okay, so the idea behind using these elements is that your markup will be easier to understand. See, if you don't have a structure for an document, then it will be very difficult to read it. So what they tried is, they tried to give a structure to an HTML5. See, it is not necessary that you should have this kind of structure in your HTML document. It is not mandatory, but you can have any structure. But if you have a standard structure in your HTML5 document, it can be read very easily. Okay, so the idea behind the using these elements is that your markup will be easier to understand, because you will be able to replace some of your div sprawl with cleaner and more self-explanatory here HTML5 elements. See, if you just have div tags in your HTML document, then you are going to confuse which div belongs to what and which content belongs to which div, blah blah blah. Okay, so if you have for a particular division, if you have a particular name, then you are going to understand that this belongs to this. So what they have find out using this search spiders, first the users has given a most commonly used class name as header. Okay, we'll see on page number 82. Okay, page number 82. See what they have find out. See, actually this file from here to here, it is a XHTML file. Okay, XHTML document. So they have, these search spiders have gone through all these XHTML many pages. Okay, then what they have commonly find out that the first division ID will be header. Most of the time the first division ID will be header, then the division ID will be top navigation. So top navigation means if you visit to any website, see, you will have a header here like this header, this is your header where we have your website name, banner, some information, okay, blah blah things. Then you will have navigation tag. See here, navigation bar, this is your navigation bar where you can move to different pages from this page. Okay, so after that they have find out that you have left navigation. So we will have in some pages we have this, right, this tree structure, this is what left navigation. Okay, so then they have seen there is a main class, there is a main division, okay, that contains a main page, main information. Then there are different sections, the first story, second story, third story. Then they will have different kinds of figures and all. So for figures they have used image tag. Then for information they have used some paragraph tag, caption for that figure. Okay, caption means the information about that photo or a figure. Then some unrelated information at the right side of the page. See here on the right side we have some unrelated. See, this actually these two ads doesn't belong to the main page, but here they are giving a ad, they may be somehow connected to this content of this page. Okay, but this is not necessary, that's why it is not at the main, they are aside. So these are called aside. See, let me explain you here. First, HTML5 semantics. See, this was XHTML file, then they have categorized as, so this can be a header, this can be a header where you can include your logo, your headings and all those things. Then second one that they have recognized, what, H group, headings group, different types of headings that we will have. So suppose if you consider this page, this can be a heading, this can be a heading. Okay, another H2, this can be H2. Okay, so different types of heading groups they have find out. Then navigation bar, third one is what, navigation bar, so that you can see in this page, this is what navigation bar, where we can move to different pages. So they classified into first header, then H group, then navigation bar, then we will have main, so this is your main page, this is your main page. Okay, and this main page, in this main page what we will have, see, the information that is very necessity or very important, not necessity, sorry, it is very important to your HTML document. Then we will have some left navigation in that main. See, in this page we will have this left navigation where we can move to different tags. Okay, then after that what we have seen, fourth one, third one navigation we have seen, then fifth one section. So in one HTML document you will have different parts, different section, the first section, first story, second story, third story, the different sections that you have. See here, in this you have a first section, then in this you have a second section, then third section. So see here, it is separated by lines, right, the third section. So this each section will contain its own story, its own article. So that's why each section has its own article, each section has its own information. Then that section we can have figures that is included using image tag. Then that figure need a information is called figure caption. So in this you have this figures, example, this is a table actually. So actually we don't have any figure in this page. Okay, suppose let us consider this as a figure here. Then the figures description will be given somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here. The entire page can have many figures, right? So they have find out what, header, H group, then navigation, then main page. On the main page we will have some left navigation, then we will have a section, and each section will have different articles. In these articles we can have figures with figure captions, right? Then at the end we will have footers information. See, what is this footer? See, this is your footer. Less important information will be at the footer, right? Copyright symbol, copyright information, all those things. Okay, copyrighted 1992 to 2020 by this blah blah blah, right? This information, less important information, you are placing at the footer. Okay, so here then last one, just before that we had aside. Aside means a less important information but related to your HTML content, and in some manner or adds, it will be at the right side. See here, there's some less important information. So here you have this less important information at the right side. Okay, if I see view page source here, let me see, we'll have here, I think class developer. See, in the header, so it is very confusing, so I don't want to confuse you. See here, actually you will have your logo, your files related to your header. Okay, then navigation bar, then main, then in that main we will have different sections, and that sections will have different articles. Then we have left navigation, that we have already seen. Then we have footer. Okay, then in the articles we can have figures also, then those figures needs figure captions. Then less important contents will be at the aside. So if you want to understand, you can see this image: header, navigation bar, the sections, then articles under that sections, then footer, then aside. Okay, so sample layout using new HTML5 semantic structure elements on page number 83. Okay, we'll see here on page number 83. This was XHTML page. We have just marked that this can be header, this can be H group, this will be navigation, this will be section, article, blah blah. Then now we have formed it. See, body, we have a header, then we have a heading groups. Okay, then we have navigations, that header ends. This header includes what? H groups, headings, and your navigation bar. Then we will have a main. In that main we will have sections. That section, those sections will have articles. Also, these main can have left navigation or main navigation. Then these articles can have images. For these images we need information, so it can have figure captions too. Then it can have a footer. If you have aside, you can mention aside informations. Especially asides will be used for ads. Okay, so one by one we'll see. So first one, header and footer. So most website pages have a recognizable header and footer section. Okay, typically the header contains the site logo and title that I have already shown you, and perhaps additional subtitles or taglines, horizontal navigation links, or perhaps one or two horizontal banners. So you can have one banner here, then navigation bar. So header, what it contains? The headings, a banner, an image of your website, and a navigation links. Okay, nav. See, in this we have already seen header will contain H groups, headings, banners, and navigation bar. Then the typical footer contains less important material such as smaller text version of navigation, copyright notice, information about the site's privacy policy, and perhaps Twitter feeds or links to other social sites. Right? So footer will contain these less important information. Let me show you. See, these less important information. The Twitter and or the Facebook pages links have been shown here on the aside. Okay, this is not necessary that you need to follow this pattern only, but most generally they have categorized like this: header, navigation, section, articles, aside, and footer. Your aside can be on the left side, your article can be anywhere, section can be anywhere, your navigation bars can be anywhere, your header can be anywhere. Okay, it is not necessary in HTML5 that you should follow this pattern, but if you follow this pattern, the search spiders can easily search your pages on the web. Okay, so after this footer, okay, both HTML5 header and footer elements can be used not only for page headers and footers, but also for headers and footer element within other HTML5 containers such as article and section. See, if you have a particular article, and particular section in your main page, you can have headers and footers for those sections as well as for those articles also. Okay, for other containers, these are containers actually, right? For other containers also you can have these headers and footers. Okay, then after that we will move on to this heading groups. So these heading groups usually contain h1 to h6 headers. Okay, so here we have an example. See, chapter 2 html1 and introduction, then h group ends. Okay, so these h groups are under actually header, right? That we have already seen in the previous slide. It is not that unusual for a header to contain multiple headings in a close proximity. The h group elements can be used in such circumstances to group the together within one container. See, h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6 you can group under one container called h group. So better to use h1 to h6 in h group. You can use paragraphs too. There is no restriction in HTML5, but we have structured our HTML5 document, so better to use h1 to h6 tag under this h group. Okay, the h group element can be used in context other than a header or footer. You can use like headers and footers. H group you can use anywhere in your HTML document file. It is not restricted that you should use under a header or footer. You can use under article, you can use under section also. See, in this example he has used this h group under article. In this h group he has just included h2 and h3. So the h group element can only contain h1, h2 etc elements, means up to h6 elements. Not only contains means what? See, you can write h1 to h6 elements here. You can write paragraphs too, but here standard says that use h1 to h6. You can use paragraph, but it is not a standard. Okay, so till now HTML5 or any HTML documents have not been standardized or restricted manner that you should use these tags only here. Okay, so it's open now. We can use any tag anywhere, but what the difficulty you will face is your search spiders will not search your page efficiently. Okay, for information. Now we will go to navigation. After header and footer we have studied heading groups that will be under headers. Okay, then navigation. Again the navigations are under headers, right? So nav element represent a section of page that contains links to other pages or other parts within the same page. So I have shown you. So these are the navigations. So you can go to the different part of this same page, or you can go to the different page. See, you can go to different page too. Okay, so understood? This is what your navigation. Then from the browser perspective, there is a no definite right or wrong way to use nav element. I have told you that from the browser perspective, wherever you use your containers, that doesn't matter. You can use footer as your header or header as your footer, blah blah things. But difficulty I have already told you, right? See here, from the browser perspective there is no right or wrong here. So here in the header what we are having your own website image or logo, then we are having heading group. See, we have just excluded here h group, right? And we are using h1 here, right? It is not necessary, I have told you already. See, navigation role, navigations. Now we have different types of links. So these are under unordered list. So we have index, about.html, browser. So it will be in a unordered list. So it is more sophisticated here. The navigation bars are in a horizontal manner. Okay, but in this code it is in list manner. Okay, so after navigation, after header includes head groups and navigation, what we will have? Articles and section. This will come under your main document, right? So this section has a broad meaning. In these different sections we will have different articles. Example, take your textbook is a content, right? So this content is divided into different chapters, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Let us take this as a sections. Then in that section, in that each chapter we will have different sub chapters. Okay, we can take these things as articles. Okay, the book you are reading is divided into smaller blocks of content called chapters, which make this book easier to read. Okay, furthermore each chapter is further divided into sections. Okay, in this section, in not even a smaller subsection or even a smaller subsection, we will have all of which make the content of the book easier to manage for both reader as well as authors. So here this section has actually a broad meaning. It can have any tags. Then articles are under a section which are similar to this section, but we will contain these articles under a section like chapter name. Chapter is your section and subtopics are your articles. Okay, according to W3C, section is a much broader element, while the article element is to be used for blocks of a content that could potentially be read and consumed independently of the other content on the page. Okay, so already I have explained you. We'll go to now next one. Those articles or sections can contain figures, I have told you, right? So before this HTML5 we have included these figures using image tag, and if you want to display the information or description of that image, that we call it as a figure caption, then we have used just a paragraph tag. Okay, paragraph tag, done. So we cannot link this figure, this img tag with this paragraph tag. Okay, suppose if you have here, let me show you. Here we had this one. See, just we had this image, right? So if you want to give a description what you are going to do, CP, then you are giving some information about that, right? Here not, it is not linked that this paragraph p tag is linked to this image, right? So and what you are going to do, if as a HTML program, see, you are going to create one div under which this image and paragraph will be managed, right? Managed, right? Like this, right? So this div is very confusing. So to remove this confusion, what they have done is they come up with figure and figure captions. What this figure and figure caption is, see here in the image you can see this is the paragraph. This is the this photo was taken on October 22, 2011 with the Canon EOS 330D camera. Then we need to display a figure, image. So what they have used a figure tag. So figure, image, whatever the image that you want to display, then break tag, then figure caption, figure description, then figure tag ends. So wherever you move this figure tag, the image as well as the figure caption will move along with it. So this figure tag actually doesn't matter where your figure is, it should be in your document. If you delete this figure tag also, it should not affect the flow of your content. Okay, but not the same case with the image file. If you delete that, it is going to alter the flow of your HTML file. See, prior to HTML5, web authors typically wrap the image and their related caption within a non-semantic div element. In HTML5, we can instead use the more obvious figure and figure caption elements. See here, in W3 recommendation indicates that figure element can be used not just for images but for any types of essential content that could be moved to a different location in a page or a document, and rest of the document would still make a sense. It should not disturb the flow of the document. Okay, you can include figure anywhere. You might have seen in your textbook, refer figure 3.1 as mentioned or as shown in the figure 3.1. That 3.1 may be on the next page, right? It should be present. It should be present in the document. Its location is not necessary. Okay, and this image as well as the description of this image will be together always under a figure tag. Okay, this is just a requirement of HTML developers during HTML, before HTML5. They have just fulfilled it in HTML5. Then we have seen aside. See, I have already explained you what is aside. The aside element is similar to figure element in that it is used for marking up content that separate from the main content on the page. I have told you that main content will be at the center, and some less important or the content which are somehow they are related to the main content will be at the right side. Okay, suppose you are seeing information about a printer, okay, or suppose you are seeing information about a smartphone, okay, then suddenly on the right side you can display a ad of iPhone, okay, or Samsung's any phone. Okay, so this is what this image or this advertisement is related to this content in some manner, and it is less important. That's why it is at the aside, at the right side of your document. You can have left side also, but most generally we are placing at the right side. The figure elements was used to indicate important information whose location on the page is somewhat unimportant. The aside element represents a section of page that consists of content that is tangentially related to content around the assigned element. Okay, the assigned element could thus be used for sidebars, pull quotes, group of advertising images, or any other other grouping of non-essential elements. So in this W3 Schools website, you can see that we have a first ad of Dell laptop here. Then we have some information about your color picker. Then how to create tabs, drop down lists, then top navigations, model boxes, all those things we have here information. Then share this information on Twitter, Facebook, right? According to our author, this sharing information of information on Facebook, Twitter, or any social media website, it should be at the footer, right? So what I have told you, there is no restriction, right? So this W3 Schools have this ad at the bottom too, right? So it is not necessary that it should be at the right side of the web page, right? So less important information we can place at the right side of your page. Okay, so this completes your chapter 1. So I will stop here. In next class we are going to in next video we are going to study new chapter. Okay, thanks for watching.